And now for the last session of this morning session before lunch, we have PK Gulati, who's an investor, entrepreneur, angel investor, and venture investor, talk with Shaukat Shamim. Shaukat was one of the early employees at Yahoo, went on to become an angel investor, venture capitalist, also a serial entrepreneur. And he has a company called U+, and he and PK are going to talk about how to pivot, how to come out of near-death experiences, and all the things that all of you as entrepreneurs face every day. So welcome PK and Shaukat.
Thank you. Thank you. You're on the other side. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Now we are sitting between you and lunch, I know that. So, thank you very much for staying this long. But you would love to hear what Shaukat has to say. So how many of you, again, are entrepreneurs, actively doing a company? And how many of you have had absolutely no issues building this company? None? Okay, how many of you have had near-death experiences with your company, like where the company almost died? Okay, you guys keep your eyes and ears open. There'll be something to talk about. So I have another friend of mine here with me called Shaukat Shamim, who you just heard MR describe as a serial entrepreneur. He is. I've known him for more than 15 years, and I've seen him in different companies and reincarnations. But he's also a guy who was like in single-digit numbers, employee at Yahoo. And
Double digits.
Double digits? Okay. That must have brought your value down, correct?
Significantly.
Significantly, correct. So Shaukat has done a lot of companies, and you have built a lot of companies after that. Why don't you tell us a bit about your journey, and then I'll ask you the difficult questions.
I say my journey has been mostly accidental. Nothing I actually planned or thought. When I joined Yahoo, I thought if they survive for more than a year, that I will be super excited. And I thought a company with a funny logo and a business plan that they make like 1 cent on a page seemed pretty idiotic at that time. Mm-hmm. So I did join them as an experiment to see, and I was moving from Microsoft to Bay Area. And that was the early birth of internet, and we were part of that ride that took us. There I created Yahoo Messenger, and also we didn't know what it was going to be. And fast forward 3 years down the road, in Yahoo, we became the largest online community in the world with 250 million people at any given time. We were bigger than Verizon Wireless. And then there it was like interesting because, when I joined Yahoo, we were very small, and when I left, we had 6,000 people, the darling of the internet. But, that wasn't really because of me. Like, I was an accidental tourist there, to be very fair. So that was like bothering me quite a bit. So I left, became a venture capitalist, was very successful in doing that, and understood what entrepreneurs were actually doing as they were building companies. And I had this itch of really doing my own. So in 2004, I started a company called Rhythm. Because I was a hotshot VC at that time, like we raised more money before we could finish our PowerPoint. And we eventually became successful. And we took the company public.
Guys, listen carefully.
And
they got more money before they built their PowerPoint.
That's true. We had 10 slides, and we raised $9 million. So give or take. And we ended up not exactly doing what those 10 slides actually said. Then after that, I started another company, and this journey was a bit different because although we exited the company, people, we were in the billion-dollar company. People were like more. They scrutinized what we did more. So we were still lucky. We had our ups and downs and we created a company called BuySide. We got acquired by AOL, and eventually that company did very, very well. And we do like millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue on that company. But then it was a dull moment where, where I came to basically this journey. I started another company. I thought that was a brilliant idea, and it failed. So that was my first, facing failure in a big way. And imagine, like, my background, although we have been fairly accidental, I faced with, what do you do after you fail, right? So I shut that company down. And then I started this company. And when we started this company also, it was probably one of the most revealing or time in my life, because, the thing about it.
As an investor, I can tell you how revealing it was for me.
So PK was one of our very, very early investors. But that time it was really hard, honestly, because, the ideas that we're kind of toying with, they were not even half-baked. We didn't even know what baking means, right? And, you really cannot start something with baking something, because, you need to do everything in parallel. You have to convince other people to come and join you. You're telling investor a half-baked plan and telling them, trust me, all kinds of stuff that are happening in your head, and it was really perplexing for me for the first time.
So I thought I was mad because I was hearing a different story every day, and I thought I had heard it wrong the last time.
No, that's true. We probably pivoted 800 million times.
These entrepreneurs, man.
But then we actually, we
Stay there. Let's stay on that one. How many of you actually have pivoted your company from what you started and drastically pivoted into something else? So we invested in a company which was B2C, and suddenly we have a company which is a B2B company, man. How the hell did that happen?
So that happened, that story is much more profound, and it is very close to us. So we, after the ups and downs, we actually landed on an idea that seemed pretty good. I'm a consumer guy. I also, Reid Hoffman used to call me Mr. Consumer when, he was starting LinkedIn. So I was like, I'm a consumer guy. So we have a consumer platform that we kind of launched. We got traction, and that's what the hard part was. If we didn't have traction, it was obvious, black and white, it didn't work. But we had traction. But the traction wasn't really, lighting fire on this one. And we realized what we started our journey with and what we were building, we were kind of focusing on the wrong thing. So there was an important time for us where we realized, how do we move forward from here? Do we really take do we keep pushing forward of what we are building and have a little bit of traction? Or we take the hard decision of saying we are not doing the right thing and change it pretty dramatically in that case on the direction that we believe we could actually do something. Mm-hmm. So, and that was in video and that was in B2B, but
why don't you talk about what you actually ended up doing then? Which, you're selling deals in one go, and the next morning you were doing video.
So when we started the company, idea was to get people's data in a very meaningful way, and we figured out how to give people things that they care about for free, so they could give us their data, so we can build a model and hence do a lot of stuff with it. That's where we have data understanding. What we moved into, we realized although we have that objective, we are solving the wrong problem. Whereas video, in our case, has a massive amount of data that is kind of untapped. So me and my co-founder, who remember we used to take long walks and try to figure out if we could really build a Google-like thing for video, where we could understand what matters to people in a meaningful way. We could actually make not only businesses smarter, we could actually make impact for society and so on and so forth. Because understanding people is what businesses are about, if you really think about it. And video is like, it's light, camera, sound. Your people are telling everybody how do they feel, what is influencing them, all kinds of stuff. But as if you could listen to 1 billion people talking, you would understand them better. But it was not humanly possible to do that. So we cracked that nut first of how to really take this billions and billions of hours of video and take out what your people are saying inside those videos and use a combination of technology and our understanding of what AI is, so we could connect the dots of why people feel a certain way.
Sentiment.
It's actually a lot more than sentiment. Sentiment is about basically saying good, bad, or ugly. What we do is we are looking for reasons so we can tell people. I'll give you an example. Within 30 days of Apple iPhone X being released, there are 17 million people express what they think about the phone in 400 million hours.
Of video.
In video. One brand, 1 month.
And one product.
And one product. Just the depth of it. However, if companies like Apple, with the millions of people talking about it, if they want to really understand what people think about their product, they will use human technology. They will bring people in a room, they will ask them. And our thinking initially was, you have 17 million people told you without really you paying them. Why do you need 20 people in a room? So that was the anchor of that. Actually, that example we use over and over again.
So what did you do with it?
So what we did, we looked at then the world and says, the old way of really this world is market research or technology that depends on human analysis. So we said, what if you could transform that world and make it more like search, like Google?
Okay.
Where your understanding of why people are doing something, why people are buying products, what people think about a brand, research that used to take months and months and months. What if you could do that research before you could walk into this room? Like Google does, right? So that's what we ended up doing. It took us a long time from that particular time in our life where we decided we're going to let go of our past and we're going to focus entirely onto this thing. We built the company from completely ground up. We looked at a different set of customers, and we did not care about anything else. We said, shut down of all stimuli, just build. So we were in the building mode for a while, and then at a point, we hit an exponential curve where it went through the roof.
So if I try to summarize this in a simpler, words, so you can watch those videos quickly, far quicker than humans can, summarize what they're trying to say, and tell the brand what they're saying.
And we can tell them why they're thinking certain way. So if we went and told Apple there's 17 million people that are talking about your product, that will be an interesting, useful information, but not useful. What will be useful if we could tell them why. So we use the tagline. We are building the science behind the why, using video as a mechanism of understanding what matters to people. So that's what we do.
So whose lunch are you eating these days? Like, in the sense, I'm sure you have displaced somebody.
So the old guards are your Nielsen's, Kantars, IMRB, of all research companies. They do not like us because we don't believe in human technology. We believe in machine technology. We believe in building technology products where we are displacing them at a scale that they are not used to. To give an example, like a comparable stuff that we do, we take Nielsen about 3 months to do. It takes us about hours to do. They will probably talk to 20 people. We'll talk to 20 million people. So the scale is not even comparable on this. So
now let's come to the company. So you built a company, Silicon Valley company. What are you doing in India?
So India was kind of a realization and a necessity for us. So we realized I built all my companies in Silicon Valley. And we realized in Silicon Valley that something fundamentally has changed. And what has changed is your Facebook, Googles of the world have taken the scale factor out of Silicon Valley. Means if you want to scale a business in Silicon Valley, you are foolish. Because this cost factor is going to go out of whack so fast that in one mistake going to kill the company. So we realized that quite a few years ago. And we came here because of, again, one of my co-founders, he's a very well-known guy here. He used to be the CEO of Amazon in India. And we said, we're going to build it here. But we wanted to build a product company here with deep technology. And we said, we are compromising on nothing. So, and that was a very hard journey for us, because for a while obviously we were kind of the kind of talent and everybody that we are meeting and we are saying no to, we had to kind of build that culture. But once like a year passed and we have a lot of tractions and we are fairly well known, then it actually scaled up. Mm-hmm. So India has been a tremendous journey for us in our short life, but we see the country is going through a transformation. What they are realizing that they are next to no one. They can build a Google-like company, in deep technology company here, and we are taking that step first as a necessity.
How many people in the audience believe what he just said?
Oh, more people than I thought they would.
Okay. So you built a company here. So what was the experience? I'm sure there's so many VCs in the room. It was so easy raising money, correct?
I don't think it's ever easy raising money or hard raising money anywhere, but India was really...
You're telling us about 10 slides and $9 million, man.
That it doesn't work here. India was like a really, I would say an interesting, weird experience for myself. Because the stuff that I am used to in paying attention to, those stimuli, didn't quite work here. To give you an example, if I go into a meeting with VCs, people will usually come and tell me, just tell me what you do, and I will never tell them what I do. Because, if somebody is interested in what you do, before they're interested in who you are, that's a wrong sequence. So it doesn't matter who that person is. I will say, kind of make shit up, and I'm not interested in that conversation. And that kind of threw me off, because initially I found everybody is interested. Nobody cared about who I am. Nobody cared about the people behind what they're doing, and that was bothersome to me. Then we actually we realized that the investment group here in India also, they're growing up. There are not that many really good ones, honestly. They may have money, but they're not that good ones. But they're kind of learning on this one.
You can laugh loudly, huh? So that's
honestly, it doesn't quite matter to us anyway, which we think. But I was a VC and I was a damn good one. If you are a VC, in my opinion, if you are meeting with people, your job is to actually know why they do it. Because the story they tell you is going to change inevitably. Then name one company they are doing what they started with and what they are today. Every company change. Change is inevitable. People are not. People stay consistent. So a partner, an investor group, if they lead with what you're doing first, they're probably the wrong group for us. And we kind of stuck to it, and that was disappointing to start with us. We had like massive heartbreaks. We had, our company died 7 times. I'm not kidding. We died 7 times. And we are about to go public. It is nothing but we got, it's a blessing that we take with our open hands, but it's also our stubbornness that we are not going to compromise on those things. We are not going to sacrifice our future when people are not, they don't care about who we are, they care about what we might do just today, and the shiny stuff we may have in that's making us look good. We would not pay attention to those. And some people may like us, and then I believe, pay less attention to that. It doesn't make any difference to you. What will matter is if you build real stuff that matters, that you fundamentally believe in, at some point, everything will become so different. Today, people come to us and talk to us as like, they're our best friends. And they should, because, we don't have to prove anything. We are big. So this shift's going to happen. But if you're really focusing on those shifts, you will inevitably do the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. So do the right thing. Try to build a good company. I used to work for this guy named Tony Pantuso, who I used to work for Jack Welch. And when I was a VC, a lot of VCs, as you know, they will ask you like the valuation question, what you do, all kinds of stuff. And he used to laugh at me when I used to look at company. He says, don't care about anything else, look for good businesses. A good business will have good outcome. So focus on good businesses. That's the only thing that matters. Like, if somebody given us a lot of money, we don't talk about it because, if I am going there and telling how much money we have raised, that's the wrong focus.
That's a loan.
That's a loan, yes. That's totally, not a loan, it's a debt for me, right? Because people will give you money if you don't return them with a multiple. In our case, for this gentleman, we are probably returning 200x. But,
Can you give me 100 today? Just checking. That's right.
We'll probably give you more.
So before we end, I'm sure everybody has heard, and some of them will actually remember this 7 times you died kind of thing before you actually reach where you reached. I was in your office yesterday, 150 people, like from a company which we thought had closed down almost. It's actually pretty great story. What is the message you have for all these young entrepreneurs who are probably just behind you in front trying to build something like that?
My message to you is, look, at the end, you have to you got to believe in a few things. You got to believe in that you are doing it for the right reason, whatever that reason might be. You also have to listen to other people less. You come to this kind of conference, you listen to people, kind of ignore whatever they're telling you, because it's not going to be relevant for you. You will have your own story. So pay attention to your own story. And that last but not least, I will tell you, if you are an entrepreneur, which I hope all of you guys are, you will invariably be kicked. You will be kicked hard. Don't take it so personally. And you know what? If somebody kicks you, which they will, and it's not how you go down. It is how fast and what your attitude is when you come up. Because they can put us down 7 times. On the 8th times, we will get you.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Would the audience have any questions for Shaukat? There's a question there. There's a microphone. Identify yourself.
My name is Ramu Kallepalli. I run a company called Travel Spice. We're trying to bring opaque hotel booking to India. But the question now I have is, you said you were close to going public. Did you pick a NASDAQ or some exchanges in India, and why?
No, not like that. We actually, we cannot talk that much detail yet on our business. We have a bunch of other folks. You're happy to catch us afterwards on this. But again, for a company like ours and anybody else on this, exit is not something you plan for. Exit is it's actually a long word, because exit means you're kind of out. That's not what it means. Exit is a fundraising mechanism.
Liquidity, maybe.
It's a liquidity. It's a fundraising mechanism, so you can run faster, better, and do what you are supposed to do. So.
There's a question there in the center. Stand up and speak loudly if you can.
I didn't quite understand. Say again?
Give the microphone, please.
Yeah.
There's a microphone for you.
What is the duration of the video you normally watch?
I watch?
What's the duration of video?
Oh, the duration of video. Yes. We watch mean as a company, or me watch personally?
Personally or company, both?
Personally, he watches Netflix.
Personally, we like,
What is the duration you watch personally?
Do you really want to know? No.
With sound or without sound?
What kind of video is the question?
What is the duration? My question is.
So as a company, we are agnostic to what the length of the video is, where it comes from. We care about what the video is about. So the video could be, there could be meaningful sections in videos in an hour-long video, and we will find them. Or it could be a 2-minute long video where there is a 10-second that is meaningful for us, and we'll find them. Personally, what we do, let's talk outside.
Okay, so kind of you.
There's a question there. That was a long time ago, man. I've been.
You always need money, right? So when you say more money than you said, it is a temporary situation. It's like an anomaly, to be fair, right? Because you may have it, but you are burning it, right? So it's kind of going down.
He will never be in that situation where he has more money than he needs.
Exactly.
Because his needs are always bigger than the money he has.
So you are, with money, you are basically taking bigger and bigger bets, right? So what would you do if you didn't have any money? So let me tell you one thing. As an entrepreneur, you kind of always never have any money. It may seem like your account is, you have billions of dollars, but you have also taken bigger bets that are kind of like, have already balanced it out. So you're kind of in negative running anyway. So you're balancing it. You're always making a choice. And the choice is, do you still continue on? Do you still take that risk of tomorrow? And as an entrepreneur, we always say yes, right? So investor, so don't put a label on investor. You are also an investor in yourself. So in the early days, the investors will be some people like PK who will, I will say, I cannot tell you what I do, but I think it might go somewhere interesting. They will be your friends. They may have a label of a VC, seed fund, doesn't quite matter. And then they're betting on you. But first, you're starting with your own bet on yourself. Because if you don't have that, you're doing the wrong thing. So, and then as you progressively go, your definition of those investors is going to have different colors. But they will always be investors.
So I think before MR throws us off the stage, thank you very much for your time, Shaukat.
Thank you.
And thank you very much to the audience for being here. Thanks a lot.